podcast will start in 3, 2, 1.
You guys are rolling.
Welcome to the Unqualified Professionals.
So, Lewis, how'd you start this?
So, I started in 2020, but before that, Abducted was something that I made sure I had to do it right, you know? So, like, I'll tell you, like, the first brand that I went with.
Yeah, I want to know it all.
Okay, for sure. So, I was like 17, 18 in high school. So, I always had, like, I would get, like, kicked out of class for, like, looking into shoes. So, it was, like, kind of like a hidden passion of mine, you know? So, I was like, okay, I want to do this, but I didn't really have the outlet for it. So, my best friend, he was just like, hey, I'm going to make a clothing brand. I was like, well, I've been knowing you since 5th grade, so I'm going to support you, you know? So, he made it. He didn't really ask me to join, but he was kind of telling me, like, the concept of it. So, I was like, all right, cool. You know what? I have, like, free time at the time. So, I was just, like, making designs up, making logos. He didn't have one at the time. I made it. He absolutely fell in love with it, asked me to join. Within maybe like a year and a half, we had like a decent buzz going around, you know? And then we got a letter from a company out in LA, and they had to tell us we had to like stop.
Like cease and assist?
Yeah, just because of the name. The name was Street Luxury, and then they had that, name as well. So then that happened. He stopped. I decided on continuing because I was like, you know what? This is actually fun. I really want to do this, you know? And then especially like with all like the artists and all the influencers that I've seen growing up, I was like, okay, they do it. I want to do it too, you know?
Why not me?
Right. So, when I did that, I kind of like jumped the gun because the designs that we had, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to change the name and keep the designs. But not knowing what I know now, like not all names fit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's kind of hard to sell. So, now since I knew my mistakes with the whole LLC thing, I went ahead and, paid for that, invested in thousands or whatever, made samples, didn't move. I was like, okay, that's just, in my head, I was like, this is because of something that's not genuinely myself, I'm just going based off what his vision.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, if I'm going to do a clothing brand again, I'm going to make sure that it's my vision. I'm going to take the time, the effort, and make sure it's something that I want to do. So again, like, I don't know if you guys heard of like Kid Cudi, but he's like my favorite artist of all time. So
that's my dude, bro. I was just listening to him on the way here.
Kid Cudi's my favorite artist of all time.
I don't know who that is.
You ever heard of Day and Night?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah. So like, especially like high school, that was the guy. So and he's all into. His name's Moon Man, so he's all into all the space stuff too.
Yeah.
So my mother as well, she is like, if she was sitting here now, like she is deep in the rabbit hole with like aliens too. Like she watches Ancient Aliens.
Oh.
I think she watched like every episode.
Yeah.
So like me sitting watching that with her, it kind of like planted seeds. And then I was seeing like the little, they have like pictures of like ancient, pyramids, things like that. I was like, that'd be cool if I put it in a shirt. Or what if that's like a sweater? You know what I'm saying? Just like constellation of stars. Maybe we could put. And now I'm like putting that in my head. And then this was probably like 3 years, gone by 3-4 years. I was like, all right, cool. I think it's like time. I think I'm just gonna make a brand streetwear, but it's like gonna be more space, something that I love. Yeah. And then the name was all right. I'm not gonna start it until I got the name. I wanted to be catchy. So like, my personal favorite brands, Supreme, Babe. Things like that. It's just like one word, catchy. So then Abducted just came. So I'm like,
Abducted, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
that's the whole story.
51 with Area 51.
Yeah. So that's it. The domains. I have to. So I just put a 51 just to make it more.
You could definitely tell your product to like your influence because the patch right there with the saucer.
Yeah.
On that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like major Kid Cudi vibes.
Yeah.
Like that dude. Like I said, that dude's he's one of my favorite artists because he's one of those musics that you can listen to, and you can almost relate to a lot of the shit he's saying. He's a troubled dude too.
Yeah.
Sure, dude.
Like he goes through a lot of mental health and shit like that, and he's very transparent with that.
Yeah. and he reaches out to the youth. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I kind of like gravitated towards. You know, his music. I mean, it's meaning towards it.
Yeah.
So.
So you're rolling on the website?
Yeah, dude. I made a website. You know, when I first started doing this in 2020, it was kind of like towards the pandemic. So I know like a lot of things were going on. So I was like, during this time, let me make sure I, you know, kind of like try some things, but you know, whatever's good, stick with it. Whatever's bad, let's just try to fix it. And you know, I got a good crew behind me, so. You know, we made the website, we're making products, we're moving, you know, so that's just all we can ask for is just continue.
And social media like is big, right? Like,
yeah, dude, and so it's so weird because like me, I'm not really into that social media. Like I have it, but I don't post. You know what I'm saying? That I don't know if you guys are the same.
Go ahead.
I was say, question for you, kind of off subject, but it's on subject. So if you were abducted, what would you say to your abductors?
Dude, I would. Don't bring me back. Don't bring me back. Don't bring me back. Don't bring me back. Yeah.
Like it turned me into one of you.
Yeah, like don't bring me back.
So you want to be abducted? Is that like where the brand name came from?
I'm like
that's your fantasy.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys ever heard of Erica Abdul, but she was like, you know, she's trying to get abducted and she's kind of pissed off that the aliens aren't choosing her. You know, I'm
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Well,
he's like,
I guess she needs to move to Alabama in a trailer park or something, you know.
Yeah,
that's where it all happens. Yeah, New Mexico.
They like the land where the property value is low. So
makes sense, I guess.
I think
a lot of space for that crap.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's true. Nah, dude,
I always thought it was a little weird, but when I was young, I also looked at a lot of the alien stuff. And there was a show called Sightings, and I was 9 years old. And the creepy part about everything, when I first learned about your clothing company, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm just remembering like 9 years old, and Sightings would show clips of like a dude in a couch, and right now he's getting abducted. And like he would be like that, and like, oh, stop, and that they were pulling his hair. It was the creepiest shit ever. Like 10 seconds into that, I'm like, no, I would sleep with the light on. It was that, and then got me into the whole alien stuff where I'm like, all right, let me read upon them. Like, okay, you know, they're usually, for some reason, they're always in Mexico. I don't know why. They say that the most, what is that called? Paranormal stuff is there?
Paranormal activity.
The most extraterrestrial like type stuff they do say is like mostly on that Mexican border or like New Mexico. I know Egypt has a lot, but that I think they had something to do with the pyramids.
With the pyramids,
without a doubt,
for sure.
So that's kind of a given at this point.
Look how it's aligned. You know,
yeah,
right to the equator, and then all the pyramids are like aligned perfectly with like Quran stuff.
Yep.
It's like it's not coincidence, you know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, but the stone. Look at what they're made of. There's like I forgot how many stones. It was like 2,300,000, I think, stones that are used, and those stones are nowhere to be found in that desert. They were taken from mountains that were hundreds of miles away.
You know, I do have I'll make it quick, a little brief UFO story for you guys.
Okay.
So, real fast, my mom used to be a flight attendant for TWA. So, you know, airline company no longer exists for the younger listeners. And she was a flight attendant. So, like in the late 70s, early 80s, she said one time she was called to the cockpit and there was an orange light apparently blinking to the like bottom left. She told me this. I don't know, but this is just what I was told. To the bottom left, that looked like it was about a quarter mile down and a mile forward. And that little orange, and they couldn't explain it. They didn't announce it to any of the passengers or anything. Couldn't explain it, that the light was there for like about 45 minutes. And this is where it gets freaky. The fuel gauge on the plane did not go down the entire time they saw the orange light there. So when they got to the airport, you know, they do in-flight inspections or whatever. They're like, well, you guys came with too much fuel. And they're like, no, we, for apparently 45 minutes, the plane was not using any fuel. And they can't explain that because they legit, you know, checked when they got to the airport, not just the gauge going bad. Yeah. So that was my mom's encounter with aliens or being abducted.
Yeah.
I was watching this documentary with, I think his name is Bill or Bob. Bob Lazar, and he was talking about the reason the reason why they don't use fuel. It's an element 115, and it creates gravity that you can propel.
Yeah,
you can propel yourself with gravity. You don't use fuel.
Yeah. And it's like really, I think I've seen what you said, and it's like really small, like
It's
like
just two atoms.
Yeah.
Like just rotating.
Yeah, and he was I think they were saying because he was saying that he was kind of working on a reactor in Area 51 as well.
Yep.
And it even tried to like encounter it, and it was like the gravity was like push his hand back. You know, and it's just like things are like. I'm just saying, man, it's real.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Real.
You think they exist in America?
Yeah, I'm like really deep in the rabbit hole with
Me
this
too.
one,
Go
man.
ahead, man. Go ahead.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I think
but before that, as humans, walking amongst us?
I think there's like different type of species.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's like just the traditional gray. Like
With
there's
the big
grays,
eyes.
reptilians. There's other ones that look like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're
I
talking
just-
about.
I know the species. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I read all
you
this
know,
shit.
yeah.
I just
like-
thought it was like Marvin the Martian and shit.
No.
That's all. That's all.
The purple
No, keep
people
going,
eater?
Keep
Yeah,
going.
No, I think there's a species. I kind of forget what the name was, but they
Anunnaki.
the Anunnakis. Well, they were more so like ancient, but there was another species as well that they look like humans, and their like motive is to make sure that we all like evolve into like world peace. You know what I'm saying? And there are like reptilians who, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys seen it with like the lady on the plane. Remember?
Yeah.
She's just, like,
that was
seeing
crazy.
I was just about to say
And then
that.
all of
Tiffany
us-
Gomez.
Yeah, and all of a sudden she's like, okay, well, I can't speak on it. But then she speaks on it recently. Oh, nothing happened.
That was just like 3 days ago.
Right.
She
right.
spoke on that in the
I don't know what
Barstool
that's all about.
podcast.
I'll have to look it up.
She was on a plane, and she, from what the accounts were, she was on a plane. She was sitting next to this guy. I talked about it in the first episode with the Above Reality guy, but he was she was on a plane. There was a guy next to her, green hoodie, hood up, and the only reason I know this is because the guy sitting behind her and the other guy put up a TikTok on what happened there that day.
Okay.
Because no one knew what happened, why she got up, what happened. But from what the accounts the guy said that was sitting behind her was she looked at this guy with the green hoodie and she said something to him. He replied without moving his mouth. It was all telepathy. Like he spoke to her with that. It'd be like if I was saying this right now, but I didn't move my mouth or not. I was just speaking it right into your ears inside your brain.
Right.
Oh,
right.
wow.
So she answered back twice, he said, and that person never said a word. And then she got up and she was like, what the fuck? Like, this dude can't be real.
That's where
So-
there's film. There's film of her just
Getting
like
up
that.
and her saying, like, this motherfucker ain't real. And after that, the TikTok guy said that the guy that sat behind her was on, he put up a TikTok. I'm sure it's scrubbed off the internet by now. But he said that the guy actually, he saw the guy in the green hoodie actually blink sideways.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like Men in Black?
And that's what kind of like, I've always thought,
Kind of like that. Yeah.
I've always thought like
They
America
were gills.
or the world,
Wow.
like they've always known that they do exist, but they're slowly trying to desensitize us to pull back the curtain, right? So like Men in Black comes out. Okay, aliens walking among us. Okay, Paul. The movie Paul comes out. Seth Rogen.
that one.
Boom. It desensitizes us a little bit more. Independence Day desensitize us a little bit more. All these alien movies are for a reason. It's to desensitize us for when this shit really does come out. We're like, oh wow, it's just like that movie District 9.
Yeah.
You got all those movies that are desensitizing these viewers. It's just like when you see so many, how many times we saw the planes crash into 9/11? Now it's not so crazy to see a plane crash, right?
Right.
So I think that that's a way to get people to go with the movement. Like they're slowly trying to tell us they're real,
Right.
but they're not gonna. If they came out and just was like, here, meet, and fucking introduced them at a press conference, you'd have people jumping off bridge. You have people that believe in
never
the
seen
faith of
this.
God.
Yeah.
I have a
You know
theory.
what I'm saying? So people that believe like deeply in God, that these things don't exist or that God didn't make them, you'd have people jumping off skyscraper. People would lose their mind if they just came out and didn't desensitize. But you gotta slowly desensitize.
I have a little theory.
What's up?
Maybe we're the aliens. We're the ones with spaceships
No.
and trying to go to other planets.
Actually,
Maybe we're ahead of the intelligence.
I heard that we're like kind of like the offspring. Like they were here first, and then like they kind of like with the genetics and stuff now, we're like the second, type of aliens or whatnot. But
So the aliens had a night in Vegas.
yeah,
and then we popped out.
And we popped up with some with the younger, yeah. But to your point, it's funny because you said that. Like, I don't know if you guys are like into Marvel or whatnot, but they made Samuel Jackson scrolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's just like one species. You know what I'm saying? Like they could just, and especially like how everything's moving. Like if they go ahead and the Pentagon says, yeah, this craft is not from this world. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so why can't you rule out another species that's out of this world?
Yeah.
Living amongst us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, it's what. So what are one of the ones like the do you have any stories as far as like what you've seen on documentaries or that you thought was interesting?
So like before I was making the brand, I was like reading into like Project Blue Book. I was kind of looking into like the whole Roswell incident things.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like, and what's funny is that now it's like with social media, like your smartphone could capture anything, so like you could literally, but everything, if I capture something like in the sky, everybody's gonna say, oh, that's CGI, oh, that's a weather balloon, that's a cover,
Yeah.
There's a lot of excuses, but in reality, you don't really know because you're not in there,
Yeah.
So things that I was like gravitating towards was more so of the documents that were kind of like covered up, hidden, and then also with the whole ancient alien, the like, come on, their technology was like so advanced, and this was like what 6,000 years ago.
Super advanced.
I mean, they were doing craniotomies in Egypt.
Or
You
like
saw that
water
on
training,
Aliens, right?
Yeah.
Where they had fragments of skulls that were like say someone like a exhumed body that was in Egypt that was obviously around in Egyptian times. There was a particular person that had a skull that was a portion was removed and put back on, and that's in times that it's not sterile like it is today. There's no colleges. There's no surgeon. Who was teaching these people?
Exactly,
Yeah.
man.
They didn't just up and like, we're gonna pop this dude's fucking skull open and see how it works.
And put it right back.
But
Maybe
they did
they
it
did.
successfully. But they did it successfully.
How do you know? I mean, I wasn't there 6,000 years ago. Know if the guy lived or not.
But I thought they were all mummified.
They were.
But that happens through the nose, doesn't it? Like I don't know. Like they do that. I think before they wrap them up.
Yeah.
That makes
So,
sense. That makes sense.
or they used to. They take out like part of the. You seem to. know more about-
It preserves bodies actually quite. Have you ever seen one of those bodies exhumed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the Museum of Science and Industry.
Yeah,
The Field Museum, or yeah.
Yeah.
They probably put the mummy next to the dinosaur.
No, I'm talking like out of the rat. That shit really.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit
Yeah.
preserves the body.
Yep.
Now they used to do that to like when they have them back up, or why would they?
But they more so did it to pharaohs. I believe it was to like keep their spirit living, if you will.
Okay.
Like, to keep praising the great,
got it.
great
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
It'd be like
yeah.
if we had a giant, warehouse full of all the dead presidents.
Yeah.
Like, let's honor all these people that were our leader at
Like
one.
Mount Rushmore or whatever.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
There was there on the pyramid. There's like I actually seen this on the episode as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's like a hieroglyphic I can't even say
Emojis.
Yeah, emojis. So there was it looked like a symbol of what is the
Anunnakis.
Anunnakis, right?
Yeah.
So he had like literally the solar system, but the sun was in the middle, and it was like all of the planets in our solar system. So if you really think about it, 6,000 years ago, how would they figure that the sun was in the center, making everything orbit? When there was times that were after that, where a lot of people believe that the Earth was the center. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even their thoughts of outer space and how it works and stuff like that, it was just so far in advance, and this was 7,000 years ago. Like, it's just mind blowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yes.
just like their pictures depict like people coming down
Mm-hmm.
from the sky. They literally show you spacecrafts, them talking or getting together, partying underneath the spacecraft. Or I'm sure that's how they got all their knowledge. And like I said, how do you do the pyramids? And you get all those stones that are the samples that were taken. That specific type of stone wasn't found anywhere near Egypt where the pyramids are. And it was found, though, those samples of the stone was found in mountains that were hundreds of miles away. I believe it was across a river or body of water. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they got all that stone perfectly measured, that's another thing. Perfectly measured. We can't do that shit today.
Not even with machinery.
We couldn't. We've tried. We've tried to machine a pyramid just like that, and we can't. We cannot do it.
I mean, look at the construction going on right now in our city, right? Like,
Man.
we can't even in 3 years.
Yeah, 290s.
Yeah, they're doing everything perfectly.
Well, that reminds me of something that I heard a while ago saying that the aliens built it. And then someone, I'm not making this up, like a year ago, some stranger said, my theory is that it was built by, I'm not making this up, he said, the pyramids were built by Mexicans because there's pyramids in Mexico too. He's like, you want to say so that's a different type of alien we're talking. It's like they brought the Mexicans over to Egypt. Like, oh, okay, so this is the
For their hard work.
Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, it was built by. It's like the aliens are still here. I was like, okay,
Even
that's
the
an
Asian
interesting.
aliens recognize the hard work of a Mexican.
Yeah.
Let's go get them.
That's all y'all know is hard work, man.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, that's who built it. I was like, there's no conspiracy. They're still building shit. And they're
That's true.
that's like,
Hey, I tend for that theory.
yeah.
I think the reason we see UFOs and stuff is because they're trying to still make like they don't. I think they understand that we evolved and they kind of just leave us alone. But I think that that's the reason why the UFO sightings were so prone in the beginning was because they were trying to visit the people they were still talking to. They were still trying to communicate.
And I think they're just waiting for us as a civilization to evolve. You know?
I think they're waiting for us to fuck up.
Really?
Like there's
to take over the world.
well, a lot of the UFO sightings that you see, there's something major happening around the area, like something bad. Like I seen one tsunami in China.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an aircraft flying right above it. Like, it wants peace.
Yeah.
Whatever, the aliens or extraterrestrial, whatever it may have you, it wants peace. It doesn't want us to fuck up this world. And I think they're kind of the ones, like, overlooking, like, let's make sure these humans don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of like almost like, I mean, it's weird to say this because they're not in the Bible, but like guardian angels. One of my friends that believes in aliens, he's like, I believe in aliens, but he's a super faithful dude, like super into God.
Yeah.
And he just believes that they're in some way, shape, or form angels.
Kind of like Heaven's Gate, like what
Yeah.
And it's like you can't rule that out, because there's actually reports in Russia and stuff like that where if they do like nuclear testing, bomb testings and stuff like that, a lot of times, it may seem like it's going perfectly, for weapons of war, and then all of a sudden they would have a report of a aircraft or something out of this world like fly by, and then all of a sudden everything doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like the reptilians are in the inside. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me thinking out of the box. If you look like for what we were talking about earlier with like scrolls.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the series. But they're politicians mostly. You know? And they're the quote unquote
the lizard people. Yeah. I mean,
that's why not, Yeah.
So if the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are gonna take over the world, I'm just saying, like, I thought this in the past year or two. I'm not making so. I want everyone's opinion on this. Say aliens do exist. How tall or how small do you think they are? Do you think they're actually our size? Because obviously we know dinosaurs are much bigger, ants are much smaller. Who says they're going to be close to our size? I mean, do you think they're our size?
I think they're different in my opinion,
different species.
there's different species, different sizes.
So I'm saying, are they going to be 6 feet tall or 6 inches tall or 60 feet tall?
They could be all three. There's different species. Like if you, I'll let you guys give your opinions.
Yeah,
on this. I got a story.
Well, Master
Right
Splinter
afterwards.
wasn't that big, and that was the Master.
Well, he got big. He was in a little cage.
Well, right.
He evolved into that to avenge his owner's death. Because Shredder killed Splinter's owner because
and Shredder was huge.
Because Master Splinter's owner took Shredder's girl, or they're fighting over the same woman. That's where that beef came from.
See, even then,
But they weren't they just got into the ooze that was human made.
Right, but I'm saying Splinter got big. Splinter was like the size of like my shoe, or maybe.
Yeah,
And then so I don't know. So I was trying to think, how big are these people in the flying saucers or whatever they're in?
But think about it. So
Not people.
that guy that looks like a brain.
Brain.
The brain, right?
Yeah.
He was nothing but he used that freaking big old structure, whatever he was using.
Mhm.
He was empowered. The aliens aren't that big, but they have freaking big old things that do crop circles and stuff like that.
So like Men in Black, when the little dude inside the big dude's head.
Well,
So that's what I'm trying to think. Like, what size are they going
That's
to be?
more of it.
Well, think of it as like Men in Black. They all different shapes. You know, like
Yeah,
the
the
Greys, for example. They're small. Then there's the
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Then there's ones at the airport that are stuck in customs.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's how it was.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. There are different sizes in Men in Black.
It all depends, man.
Because actually, like the whole Men in Black thing, I guess that goes back to the 1960s where people spotted people like that.
Yeah.
And then it became a comic book, and then it became a movie.
Yeah.
So, kind of a mockumentary, if you want to call it that. I don't know.
But like if you hear like, I was watching this show. It's actually on HBO Max right now. It's brand new. It's on its first season, but it's called My Horror Stories. Now, in 2 of these episodes I watched, this like I said, it's a newer show. In 2 of these episodes I watched, there was 2 different stories. Most of them is about paranormal. You know, My Horror Story, blah, blah, blah. And, but 2 of these stories really stood out to me. 2 of them were people that were abducted. One was a man, one was a woman. And they both had different accounts of being abducted, but they both had different descriptions of the aliens. So the woman, she was on there, and she stated that, like, she was having these dreams that these people were taking her. She was pregnant. She was past her first trimester. So the baby's well out of kind of a early breech or, miscarriage area. And so she was having these dreams that she was being worked on and all this other things, and she just wasn't feeling right afterwards, and these kept happening, these dreams, like for a week straight. So she goes to the doctor, and all of a sudden the baby disappeared. She never had any bleeding. She never had there was no miscarriage. She couldn't have a baby for 3 years. Her and her husband kept trying and trying and trying, but in her dream, she said that they had taken her baby. Like, she had talked to them, and they actually said, like, we're taking your baby. Like, don't worry, it's okay. And years later, she ended up finally getting to be pregnant again, and she had a child, but she said even now he expresses things that are a little bit differently. Like, he's extremely smart at a young age, but the way she described these aliens, to go with your, like what you said about the different species or how they're shaped, she said that they were kind of like how your patch is, the gray skins, big eyes, tall. Yeah. Now, the other guy that was in like a couple episodes later, it's not consistent because it's just, I'm sure they don't just want to make a show about that. It's mostly about paranormal. But the guy said he was on a hunting trip with his friend, best friend. They were friends for years, and in this open field, and all they see was this fucking beam of light. And he said they got in their truck, and the next thing he remembers is like speeding into a hospital. And they got to the hospital and they were severely burned. He didn't know why. He said that they had got away, but he had blacked out everything except for like the last 5 minutes to the hospital. And all he remembers is the last 5 minutes to get to the hospital and walking in the hospital. So he's in the hospital room. Now this is what really makes me think like the government knows 100% these motherfuckers are there. He said about an hour in, FBI agent comes in, or CIA, whatever it may have you. He comes in, and he goes, you're going to tell me exactly what fucking happened. Because the burns on his body were something that no one's ever seen. His entire body, him and his best friend were burned head to toe. But they weren't in, like, severe pain. He said they were in pain, but they weren't. But their skin color was different. It was all red like they were burned, but they weren't, like... I don't know how to explain. They weren't incapacitated or debilitated by any means.
Maybe burned, but had aid like they'd never seen before.
So yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I said, to watch this episode, you gotta watch. It's on Max. It's called My Horror Story. But so anyways, FBI agent comes in and he's like, "You're gonna tell me exactly what happened." He goes, "This is what happened." He said the same thing that I just told you about the beam of light. They ran. We couldn't really see what it was, and he goes, "That's not all that fucking happened." And this FBI agent's like cussing him out. He goes, "Now you're really gonna tell me." And he filled up this syringe. And he shot it into this dude into his arm. Like I said, this is all in this episode in his account. So he shoots it into his arm, and he said the second that liquid hit through his IV, a massive flood of memories came through. So what happened was they seen the light. They didn't get away. They didn't drive away. They were trying to get to their truck. The spacecraft had landed, and he said about 10 beings that were about 4 feet tall came out, and they looked like they were in some sort of like little suit or whatever, but they were definitely not human. And they took him and his best friend in, and all he remembers is being in there, and it was actually the beam of light that came down. That's what burned it. It's this light that obviously we're not accustomed to, we're not used to. They have different technology, so they that's what like gave them burns or discoloration of the skin. And they went in the spacecraft. The aliens got to him, and all he heard was like his friend like, "No, stop!" It was like almost torture. They were operating on these people.
Oh wow!
So he had this is what's fucked up. So he
as if not enough.
Dude, it gets way worse. So he's like they started doing something in my knee, and they were messing with my knee. And he's like, all I heard was the screams of my best friend and him finally saying like, "Fucking stop." So he said all he heard was one of the being that it was like, "I told you guys you'd be okay, and to stop screaming," and he knocked him out. He knocked his ass out cold. And he said the next time he remembers, he was already in the truck driving away. So he said he goes to the doctor years later. He's having some pain in his knee or whatever. And
of course,
they get the x-ray, and he'd never had any problems with his legs ever in his entire life. There was a fucking plate right here, and they said it looked like it was almost used to track something or track someone.
Huh.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was already in there. He didn't have any scarring. He didn't have anything. But he firmly believes that they're still... And a lot of people that say that they were abducted have some sort of like a trace. Like almost like if you tag a shark. Like, let's see where this motherfucker goes to Australia.
Or you take a dog.
You know what I'm saying? Tag it. I mean,
chip in the dog.
Chip a dog.
E.T.'s like,
But-
"You're my bitch now."
Yeah, it's...
You're going to Petco. Right.
Yeah, so it's like he was talking about that. Like, I've never had anything done to my knee. My doctor said my knee ended up fine. So I think different sizes, different species, kind of like what you said, and that's two different accounts completely. That they're so night and day.
Yeah.
So how about the Malaysian plane? You believe in any of that?
I do.
Or do you believe that it was like extraterrestrial beings that maybe took it over, or maybe just lost the navigation, or what's your whole opinion on that?
So from what I believe,
Yeah.
the way they travel, there's some, I don't know if you guys heard, but the way they travel, they could like travel from like space, like kind of like just like this, kind of like a warp. You know what I'm saying? So if you see like the video, like it's only like one, but then all of a sudden like the plane's flying. I don't know if you guys seen it, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of like trying to describe it the best I could. But the plane's flying, then there's just one like orb, right? And then it's just like flying around the plane, and then all of a sudden it splits into two, it splits into three, kind of like perfect, and then it just like disappears. So I believe that it just like disappeared, just like straight to where, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, there's no evidence of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't find it anywhere.
Anywhere.
And I mean, finding an aircraft over an ocean, it's not gonna happen. No, not unless you. I mean, I'm not getting in no submarine.
Like Titanic?
Yeah, those idiots.
But there were survivors for that. But I know what you mean. It took 90 years to find it.
They're survivors of the Titanic or Ocean Gate.
Titanic.
Oh, not Ocean Gate. They went to go see the Titanic and they all fucking died.
I'm glad we're all poor enough to not die
Could you
next to the
imagine?
Titanic.
Could you imagine that fucked up shit? Like, there was that one dude that was a billionaire, and he had just became a billionaire, and his son was like, "Dad, let's go down and see Titanic." Could you imagine, like, blink of an eye, waking up at the pearly gates like, "You little bastard, look at what you fucking did to us."
Yeah, his life really sunk.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking terrible.
Literally.
I don't know if it's true, but didn't they get like the remote like off Amazon or something like that? I was reading.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it was pretty much.
I would not trust.
It was essentially this beer can going to.
It's common, actually,
What?
to control a submersible with a controller like that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But they didn't have any retractability either. Like if I was going on something that was even number one, I don't fuck with oceans. There's too many predators. But if I did,
There is.
if I did,
A lot of perverts.
if I did, yeah. So, yeah, if I did, it would be not in that way. Like, that thing was... There had been other people that died. That wasn't the first one that happened. That was just the first one we heard about.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me think, like, we only heard about it because something was going on over here, and they were trying to make us look over there as far as government goes. But there was no retractability. Like, you better have an emergency button to where if I hit something in this fucking... in this submarine, you hit a button up there that yanks us the fuck out. So, it had none of that. They had to sign a waiver pretty much saying, like, death sentence time.
Right.
Yeah,
It was horrible.
death was on the written agreement, like I think 13 times.
Yeah.
And the problem with, if you want to say it's a problem, is like because you're in international waters, you don't have all these laws, so to say. So that's why the guy that made that thing didn't care to go up buy everything, because I'm sure you know this. You guys might know it too. But that thing went down there like about, I think, 5 times. So what happens when a submersible or submarine goes down, because of all the pressure, it gets compacted down a little bit every time. So submarines get inspected later on, and they take measurements to say, can it withstand another mission? And then sometimes they'll retire it, or they'll say that it cannot go to certain depths anymore. It can only go down this far, not as far as it went a year ago. That guy that had the submersible didn't care about any of that.
Oh, crap.
And the material was not the same because he used cheaper material. So that's why, yeah, it's like a set of tires. You know, like that. It's like, okay, cool, you know, I could go... I could drive, for 2 years like this, but after 4 years, it's not going to be as safe.
Right.
After 5 years, I definitely can't use these anymore. That's kind of how it literally wear and tear on the vehicle. That's exactly what happened. He just ignored everything. And
Do you think that's why it imploded?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I actually did look into this because I was wondering what happened, and he is literally a guy that just did not. He would actually make fun of how much he was getting away with without rules and regulations, and that's what did it. It literally just couldn't take the pressure anymore of going down there anymore.
I don't know if it was even any more because they had only done it how many? I think they said only a handful of times before that, right?
Well,
so.
Yeah, but it'd be like doing a burnout with a set of tires. You can only do it so many times.
Exactly.
But the regulations, as far as that go, like Australia, dude, they got a lot of. They're tight. They are tight. It wasn't Ocean Gate in Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it in Australia?
Where the company was?
Yeah, Ocean Gate, where they went and took. I want to say they were from. It was from Australia. I could be very, very wrong in speaking out of school on this, but I want to say it was in Australia.
Well, regardless, he didn't care about safety standards.
Yeah.
Or he just overlooked them and was like,
Shit,
what can I get away with? I mean, granted, I'm no better for what you know about my car right now.
Yeah.
I'm on 3 brake discs right now, and one's in the trunk.
Yeah.
And I drove 90 miles per hour on the way over here with 3 brakes. But
you gotta understand, like, the depth. If you put, like, Sears Towers and stuff, and there were still more, like, you look at the Sears Tower and you know that you're going under that. I wouldn't sign no waiver or nothing like that.
Oh, and you got billionaires and billionaires getting on there. That money, dude. You gave me $1 million, I'll tell you to go into somewhere. Hey, you die. That's on you, dog.
I wouldn't go.
That's on you, bro.
There's people that are billionaires that are trying to go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jeff Bezos did.
Well, they've done it. Yeah, they've done
Just
it.
to go.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of the same
the
concept.
ocean is a scary.
But
place.
exactly.
You don't fuck with the oceans
At
either?
all, man.
My man.
No, there's cities.
There's sharks in that motherfucker.
Not only sharks, there's
There's shit that we don't know about.
There could be alien ships
We've
in
only
there.
the Loch Ness Monster's in there. Yes, and the
Yeah.
Loch Ness Monster.
Oh,
I thought that
you
was
believe in
in-
Nessie?
I thought that was in Scotland.
You guys see
But
the
go ahead.
new footage of the Bigfoot?
Hey, that's
You
something
believe
that I
that
do
too?
believe in.
Do you
Yeah,
believe
I like
in
monster
that?
trucks too.
Oh God, could I talk about more of a worthless?
No.
fucking statement? Jesus
You don't know
Christ.
in the wilderness, like
Stop it.
in the Appalachian
Please
mountains,
stop it.
like what's in there.
Please stop it. That's so fucking debunked. That fucking show is the biggest piece of shit ever.
What show?
finding Bigfoot. They've never found them. I don't know how that thing's still on air.
They don't find it.
They found them in
No,
the footage, and they
ever.
look, yeah, some Nikes.
They're just like, oh man, we heard a growl.
So
They're like, oh, look at this footprint.
But you never know, because they could breed with all these animals and bears and all this stuff, and
They could breed?
I think
You
so.
think?
I think so.
You don't think we would have seen some sort of a hybrid bear by now?
I think they're out there, man. And I think
Hybrid
they're out
bear.
there.
You think there's multiple Bigfoots? You're
I
insane.
think so.
Well,
Not the
why
one from
not?
the-
I mean,
the one from the 60s isn't going to
Bigfoot-
be around now, obviously.
You don't know that.
Well, Bigfoot had
Alligators are around, and they were around when fucking dinosaurs
Oh, well,
were
yeah,
dog.
that's true.
Jellyfishes.
That's true.
Well, Bigfoot had to have parents.
Yeah, no,
Eels?
That's true. There's
Yeah.
turtles
All-
that are like hundreds
there-
of years old.
There's
so-
plenty
so-
of species
yeah.
that were around when the
So that
dinosaurs
Bigfoot
were.
could be that Bigfoot from the 60s that they have the footage from.
Maybe Bigfoot's an alien.
I know you're not talking
They
about
tried- they
that.
tried- that was the pet. The pet fell off the
That's the
spaceship.
chosen in there?
Stop it. Stop it.
They left their pet Bigfoot here.
I seen it. I don't. Me personally, I don't.
No, but
You don't
there-
buy Bigfoot?
But there has
Neither
to
do
be
I.
something like that in the mountains. There's something that
Just-
camouflages.
Yeah,
something
Ted
that has survived.
Ted Kaczynski.
The main reason I don't is because the way how humans are, they'll want to hunt this thing.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
It's our primal nature.
Yeah, they would want to hunt this thing.
Yeah,
And the thing is, a
whatever. For the
Bigfoot
husks or something.
can't go underwater. It can't go outer space. So they would have eventually caught this thing.
I would make it a sandwich.
There's too many.
Yeah, they would have got it.
Yeah, you know,
I want to make peace.
Just like as a trophy, like if someone
trophy,
would want them
exactly,
in their living room,
yeah.
like, look, I have the
Yeah.
stuffed Bigfoot. Here it is.
yeah, that's why I think he would.
As humans, yeah.
I got the Bigfoot foot above my fireplace.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
reason.
So what are some alien stories you've read into? I'm sure you've read into abduction stories just like I told
Yeah.
that one. So what's one that probably like really piques your interest?
So there was one, I believe it was under Project Blue Book. So there was a group, it was a school actually, elementary school in a part of Africa.
Yeah.
So what happened was there was kids were having recess, you know.
Mhm.
So during the recess, you know, there's a bunch of like wilderness or whatnot, but they seen kind of like a crash. So it was like just a split second that was crash. Teachers came out, things of that nature. So in the documentary, they're explaining, you know, how obviously they can't speak of it, of government, whatever, you know, they can't speak. But the children, what they did was they drew pictures. So during this crash, they see just like glows of light. So, you know, obviously there's a fence because it's a school, so they get as close to the fence as possible. They're trying to like, you know, peek. And, you know, one of the students who, obviously they grew up, but one of the students said that something that's not human came out forward and were talking to them, like telepathically, and they were just basically telling them while it was getting repaired to make sure you, like, kind of like, basically treat the earth with love. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, take care of the planet. And it fixed, and they drove, and they flew up. But the teachers at the time, which they couldn't explain, or couldn't talk about it, they were explaining how the way how it took off, it wasn't like a normal plane, you know, like it just like, it was just like, it shot up, it hovered, and then just shot up, and then it shot up vertically, and then just took off.
And no one
And, you know,
There's
yeah.
no noise.
And no noise. It was just no noise. And then during that time, you know, school was canceled or whatnot, and all the kids, the teachers collected all the I guess the drawings of what the kids saw, and each kid was kind of like isolated, and all of the pictures kind of like looked.
They were cohesive.
Same experience.
So they were all kind of like.
Yeah, so it
Accounted
was just
for the same.
it was trees, a UFO ship, a little gray, and you know, a school of kids talking to one, you know, and that was it. And that was one that I kind of gravitated towards because I'm like, if that type of species looks out for the earth rather than others, you know.
And not only that, but kids with their temperament, they're not telling lies. You know what I mean? I remember my daughter out and me one time in Lowe's because I had to drop a deuce, and I'm like, we got to get out of here. She was telling the clerk, like, we got to get home. My dad's got to. She outed me right at the front counter. I was pretty fucking.
You didn't use one of the demo toilets at the display?
No.
I'm gonna take this on the floor model.
Yeah, it's like, what is that called? Jackass. When boy did that.
Yeah. Oh
But-
crap! I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was in most alien encounters that I've read or watch or read about on the internet. It's all through telepath. It's
Yeah,
100%. That's how you kind of know. Like, most people that have been abducted or that have a alien story of any sort where it's communication-wise is never, like, they talked. It's always, like, their lips weren't moving, but it was in here. And that's what kind of makes me really think about that Tiffany Gomez, like, that motherfucker ain't real.
Yeah.
Because that guy's sitting by, like I said, I wish I would have screen recorded it so I could show you guys.
Because we only see the version where she's saying that, but we don't see what...
We don't see anything that happens
background,
before that. You don't think that's funny? That's quite odd to me.
Like how I explained earlier, what's funny is that I don't know if you guys
can have
seen it, but there was an interview that they were trying to get the information out. And she's like, I can't talk about it.
She kept saying that too.
Yeah, I can't talk about it. And then a couple days
about
ago, she's back on like a podcast or whatever, and then she just says, "Oh, I didn't see anything."
Yep.
So like, why didn't you say that from the beginning? You know?
I think it was like that one dude's abduction story that I was just telling. I think the government came to her and was like, "Look, you cannot,
say
cannot do this. You can't say anything. You got to get that scrubbed. We can't talk about this shit because it's just too much for people to get."
But why would they want to be on a commercial airline? Why would they want to be? They want to.
They're blending in, bro.
Oh, shit.
They walk among us. I firmly believe aliens walk. I mean, who are some people that you suspect of being aliens?
Like artists, like influencers, like
no, just anyone. Because I got one in my head right now.
Who is it?
Elon Musk.
Oh,
Really?
Without a doubt. He's probably one. We think about his mission. He's always trying to better everything, all across the board. He's not doing most of this stuff maliciously. He's trying to advance humanity in the best way possible, safest way possible, if you will. Like he firmly believes Tesla is a company that's going to change the world, which it already has, and he's always trying to better everything. Like Starlink. You could put it anywhere. He's trying to help everyone. It runs off satellite. You don't need certain things. There's so many things. He's obsessed with math and the letter X. You know, he changed Twitter to X, obviously. And his son, I believe, is named like XYZ.
Oh, crap.
Or something like that, like XZY. You could probably pull that up and put that shit right here on the animation. Like, Elon Musk's son, I mean, damn, don't dox his son. But but his son, if you Google his son's name right now, I can guarantee you it's not like Michael. It's like a math formula, dog. I swear to God, it's like XZY, and it's like one of those Hawaiian names. Like, yeah, this is Ulu Ulu Kalahala, which is Hawaiian for wind chime.
I have a question for you. But actually, I have a question for all of you on that guy. Say he's not an alien, because recall he was born in Africa, like South Africa, and he now has American residency. So would you say the richest man or second richest man in the world is an African American that's white?
Ooh.
What's wrong with?
I mean,
what is up with that stereotype with people? Like, why is that such a bad thing to think of? Like, white people from Africa. People white are in Africa. Like, there is white people. Look at
Remember section.
yeah.
But I think it's the way that they came in. That's why. The way that they got that certain part of Africa. The way that they came in, kind of.
They're across the entire country.
Egypt?
No.
The whole continent has white and black.
They I don't know, man. It's kind of like
I hate how it's lumped up like that. Like, oh, black people are just like, that's not true.
It's just
It's simply it's one of the worst stereotypes I've ever thought of.
Well, you know what I say? When the lights go out, we all black.
Well,
That's what my English teacher. No, one of my high school gym teachers said.
I think it has more. I think it has more of like where the wealth is, where the wealth is, and that part and government. That's the thing that gives it the vibe of that.
What?
That portion's the one that's well off. I think. That's.
I don't know, man. That UFC
kinda...
fighter, Dricus du Plessis, he grew up in some fucking slummy parts of Africa, and he's white as shit.
Really? Oh,
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Every time I've always
there's
thought...
races everywhere, man. Unless you're like really in Ireland or Scotland, that's or Australia. There's countries out there like that don't have many black people, but Africa's one of those ones that's so stereotyped to where it's like you only think black people are in Africa. That's so fucking close-minded.
It's a continent. A lot of people think it's a country.
It's so fucking
it's a whole continent.
I know.
It's so close-minded.
There's 54 countries in Africa.
That continent, if you put it like to the U.S., it's kind of
Oh, you're talking about Pangea now, where
it was all together.
Well, we were all one land, and then it just
that makes
off
sense
and
to
it connects
me
like a puzzle
because
piece.
it all connects like a puzzle. Come on, That had to be.
Oh yeah, that happened for sure.
That wasn't just like, then everything would be shaped
The
different
Ice
if
Age
it
and
wasn't.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It kind of started breaking off
Yeah.
because it was all one. Is the world round or flat?
It's round, dude. Stop it. It's 100% round.
You know, I wonder. What,
Really? Because growing up, when
No,
I
it's
used
not.
to see the maps of the
You think it's flat?
no, I think. Well, I mean, when you zoom out far enough, it looks circular, but it's not a perfect circle. I mean, I'm just being literal here because we got mountains and everything too.
Well,
So
Yeah,
so it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Well, no,
it's
no,
not
no.
a marble.
It could be a perfect circle, but see,
he sees my point.
Yeah, but if I have this right, and it's say it's closed, and I bring this up, and we're sitting like this, right, and there's mountains like that just coming up. It still remains the shape of a cylinder, right? It's just
Not to me.
It just has this coming. You know, I mean, I guess if you want to call it that, but yeah, I believe it's running around.
It's a sphere.
Yeah.
It's definitely a sphere.
It's a sphere. It's a
Well, yeah. Here's a question for you guys on the Earth. No one's ever been able to answer this correctly. I want to see if any of you guys can. How much of the Earth is water?
oh,
Think about the question very carefully, because nearly everybody asks gets it wrong.
it's the majority, like everybody else is. It's the majority.
Isn't it like 90 something?
It's like 90-something
I have
percent.
to say,
No.
it's over 90, definitely.
No.
It has to be.
No.
What
You
is-
look at every
what's the
country.
answer?
and
Because I think we only discovered like 5% of it.
70 or yeah, like 5.
Like,
we
we
only know.
explored, I'm sorry.
We only have explored and know like 6% of actual waters.
No, I'm
The
scared.
correct answer. The Earth is 0.023% water.
Oh, no way.
No.
No, because you guys are thinking about the surface, which is 70%. I'm talking about the Earth as a whole. No one thinks about it as a whole.
No, I'm thinking about
I'm
Earth
thinking
as a
about
whole
the
because
whole,
the
yeah.
depth of the ocean is water.
So you're telling me.
So you're saying
so
water
you're-
only exists on the surface? Once you break the surface,
No,
it's not water.
So
all
you're
water.
telling me the Earth is full of water in the inside, all that magma or whatever comes.
No,
from
but we go in. Okay, if you want to go that, you're going to go that route.
that I am.
What? Okay. What? Titanic, prime example. We just talked about Ocean Gate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how deep did they have to go? And all of that was water, was it not?
Seven
They didn't have
miles.
to go
7 miles.
7 miles deep. Yeah, you didn't know that. So if you have to go that deep just to get to the Earth's crust or whatever, then that's 7 miles deep of water, which is absolutely constitutes the percentage.
That was nowhere
No,
near.
you still got another 30,000 miles of solid rock to get to Australia.
What?
You're talking about the whole Earth. Okay, so you're gonna say 7 miles down. What about everything else into the Earth? So to say.
That's exactly what I'm saying. How much? Okay.
It's
You're talking about.
So
you're
the
talking about
surface, but the surface and then the depth, that has to take into account. So
The
that's
depth of
more
the
water.
water.
Yeah, the depth of the water. If you're talking about surface, you're just talking 70% plus the depth. That's probably more water.
It's 0.
No, it's not. But
Yeah, it
No,
is.
it's not. That's
The Earth is a rock, dude.
Oh, no.
it is.
And-
No, it is.
yeah,
It is.
but
With,
the
with lava
water-
underneath it, and it's actually pretty soft. It's actually a pretty soft crust.
Oh, shoot. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
so you don't think there's a bunch of lava and rock underneath the water?
No, there is, and that's precisely what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you're talking about just the surface, and then you're like,
No,
well,
I'm not
after
talking about
that,
sir. I'm talking about the whole Earth.
well, after that, exact. So these bodies of water. Now, I would believe you if all these bodies of water were 1 foot deep, but they're not. They're way deeper than 1 foot. They're deeper in miles and miles and miles.
So
Just
you
like
got-
if you drilled to the Earth's core, right here in Chicago or Indiana or anywhere on the U.S. soil, you'd have to dig. You'd have to drill hundreds of miles to get to the Earth's core.
So you're gonna say 7 miles.
Just
at
like volcanoes.
the deepest point, 7 miles of ocean, and yet there's tens of thousands of miles below that of solid, and you're still gonna say the majority is water.
I don't.
We're gonna take 7.
You don't know how deep the Earth's crust is.
It's
No one's ever been there.
Well, there are ways to
We
measure
haven't
it.
even
It's like
discovered all of the ocean.
it's like 15 or 20,000 miles thick of
We-
solid rock, and that's just one way. That's
been there?
that's just down.
You've been there?
I'm here right now.
That's what I'm saying. You're
Maybe
not
this
asking
guy's
the
the
Earth's crust. That's what I'm
alien.
saying.
He knows all this stuff.
I've been accused of being an alien.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God, there's this dude at my work. He's actually one of my best friends. He turned into a shout out to Jermaine. he thinks I'm a reptilian. Swear to God, he just like the way you operate, and I don't know what was going on with his head when he thought this, but he's like, I've seen you blink sideways. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
He's not real.
He tells his wife, he's like, I work with an alien. He told his wife I was a reptilian. This is a real story.
What was in his drink?
Who knows? But he was. He's one of my best friends. He knows. He said it to my face because he's not a sugarcoat guy. He's a real straight up dude. Awesome guy. But he does firmly believe I'm an alien. And I'm like, dude, I'm not an alien. He's like, that's what an alien would say. He's like, because you live among us. But when he's like, just when stuff goes down, please don't leave me behind. I'm like, dude, I'm not an alien, bro. Like I keep telling him that. But he's a different dude.
Yeah. He's got a space on your craft.
Yeah.
Reserved seat.
Yeah. I mean, I guess shit, you guys do too. I guess if it ever, like something fucking, as long as
I better watch what I say. You're gonna burn me with your ray gun.
Yeah, might do it. I believe. Yeah, that's just so wild that dude, that threw me when he accused me of that. He was dead serious. I'm not even making this up. This is real shit. I came home and told my wife, I'm like, Jermaine thinks. Like... Yeah, I'm like, babe, Jermaine thinks I'm an alien? She's like, ha ha. And I'm like, no, seriously. He tells people at work, like, I've seen him blink that way.
Oh,
I'm like,
crap.
Oh, great, here we go. I'm going to go to HR. Like, it's
just an
terrible.
HR, bro.
This is an awful story. But, yeah, that's just how he thinks. He firmly believes I'm an alien. I don't know. He just says the way I operate, like, I guess, the way I work, and I'm pretty decent with numbers.
You're denying it?
Yeah. I denied it to his face, like, bro, I'm not an alien.
I see you blink sideways.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. That's why I wear shades all the time. You guys are going to key in on me.
I'm like, I wonder where these burns are coming from.
So, I got a question for you. Back to your clothing line.
We forgot about. We went so out of space.
Well, no, I mean,
we went out of space.
His clothing line solely, revolves around aliens, so it's natural to trail off into that subject.
5 minutes left.
Exactly.
And it's good to talk about it. So, how do you get that with the Cubs? Like, do you get a license, or am I talking out of school to where we can't talk about that?
I mean,
you do modifications.
I can cut it out if you want me to.
Yeah, no. So basically, like, okay. So for example, Kylie Jenner, right? She has she has a clothing brand that just came out the other day, but she had like makeup.
Yeah.
And so that logo was a logo from, I don't know what it was, but she used it and she just like modified it. So, I mean, yeah, it's the Cubs, but there's some like modifications towards it.
It's actually not the Cubs seat.
Exactly. And then like with the UFO, it just makes it its own different logo. Mm-hmm. Now, if it goes to the point where it's like, Cubs players are wearing it, and now, it's just...
It picks up some steam?
Yeah, then it's, they're just going to probably want maybe a cut.
Yeah, give them a cut, man.
Of course, I don't care.
If Cubs motherfuckers are rocking your shit, you've made it, bro.
Yeah, you can have it. Like, I just want the exposure,
And that's all we're going for, too. And it kind of reminds me of Jimmy Iovine. Have you ever seen The Defiant Ones on... HBO.
I have not.
No.
He talks about how it's about like Eminem and his come up. This is one of the managers in Hollywood, Dr. Dre, and his come up, if you will. So he talks about how they got Beats, the headphones off the ground, and the only thing he did was he took the first prototype of the Beats Studios, that you put over the over ear ones, and he would go to concert because he's a manager and a music producer, and he would go to like Gwen Stefani, hey, wear these just right now and let me take a picture. At this party. That's it. And he would post it to his Instagram. And hey, LeBron, wear these walking into the stadium real quick and just let the camera catch the beat.
That's it.
And you listening to the headphones. Once you get that, that's so he's a genius. Yeah.
It's
but that's what it goes with the exposure, like you said. Like if a Cubs player wears your shit, dude, you're fucking made. But I hope it happens.
Or an artist wears your stuff, then they ask.
Of course.
Who did that from that 70s show? Who did that? What was his name? Someone did that made the John Deere tractor stuff like trendy. Like,
Ashton Kutcher.
He did that with the John Deere stuff.
It was Von Dutch.
Yeah.
It was the Von Dutch trucker hat.
Von Dutch was making the John Deere hats.
You got John Deere right. It was Von Dutch, the brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't John Deere. It was.
And
Von
I remember
Dutch
I
trucker
picked up
hats.
one of those hats.
And he
Well,
wore it on Punked all the time.
Okay,
Hang on
that's
a
right.
second.
And that's how Von Dutch. Oh, those trucker hats fucking flew off the shelf. Everyone was wearing that.
I wore that. Just
Yeah.
like the Bass Pro Shop ones.
I was just about to say that's like the new trucker that's in.
Who did it, Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. He's the one that did the whole. It's Von Dutch. It was Von Dutch hats for sure.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, I'm sure
it was
he
a
has
John Deere hat.
I'm sure he has a John Deere one, but I can tell you, I would bet my balls on it.
Yeah.
Well,
That is
you're
Von
about
Dutch.
to lose your
That
balls
is
because of the
shit.
John Deere.
That's John Deere right now, but look at the original trucker hats. Look at
All
the
right,
trucker
let me
hats.
have them.
I need your balls, sir.
Look at the trucker hats.
They're going on.
Look at the
the
trucker hats.
Facebook market.
Look.
Put your balls on eBay. They're worth. That's a $60,000 bet you just lost. I know what those testicles go for on the market.
They're $99 a piece. They're still popular.
That's all they're worth.
Your balls or the hat?
Both.
You laughed the fart out of me, dude. I'm like,
Let me quick face.
Yeah, it was definitely Von Dutch.
Oh,
Stop it.
shit. No, it was.
It was John Deere.
I did have the Van Dutch. I did have it.
It was Von Dutch.
But I didn't know it was because of
he
him.
always
it was like
wore
the
them in
whole Ed
pump.
Hardy
Yeah.
stuff.
And
It was
people-
a famous brand.
Yeah.
It was that
Yup.
whole thing that, fuck, you see it everywhere you want it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Barton's off the table, I got the Barton shirt. I'm trying to promote. So what all do you make at the Abducted 51? You do hats, obviously. Dude, your fucking jean jacket's sick.
Oh, thank you.
I
thank
love
you,
it.
thank you. Coming out soon. So I did hats. I did beanies. I think I'm rocking some socks. I did some socks.
If
I
you
did
can
some
put a
beanies.
look at, man, these are freaking amazing.
Oh,
When you
yeah,
were walking.
These are Cactus, but yeah, shout out to Cactus Panther. I love that brand. Really comfortable. But yeah, we made jackets. I got a fleece. I just want to kind of tap into all clothing. I actually got some gifts for you guys.
All right, let's see
so
them.
This is amazing, man. So I just wanted you guys. I dropped this. This is
Oh, dude, thank
quote-unquote
you.
perfect hoodie.
Thank you very much.
I got one if you guys wanna. That's for you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
These
you
are
guys.
This quality right here.
Yeah,
Got embroidered?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I so every time I drop, and this is kind of like what I learned from other.
You have the XL?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry if you guys wanna.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not expecting.
Ah.
I want to make sure the quality is top notch.
Yeah, this is...
I don't want to unfold it because this is cool.
Yeah, I say.
I want to just put it in my.
Yeah.
The aliens folded this. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Or
It's
somebody that used to fold napkins at the Hyatt Regency did
Even the
this.
fold.
Look at this.
What
Look at
size you got?
I got XL.
I'm sorry.
One,
Yeah.
two, or one?
I just wanted one XL. Are you still fat shaming me? What is going on
Hey,
here?
I got the text.
I'm telling
I
you,
know
dude.
I got the sizes right.
Latinos are definitely racist against fat people. They are.
Mexico's the fastest country in the world right
It
now.
is.
Yeah.
You think so? They
No,
escaped Mexico
No,
for famine
because
and
of the
cartels.
wealth. No,
It
because
just
of the
came-
wealth. There's money in the streets right now.
From who?
And blood.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of those
There's
cartel
leftover-
videos.
Right, and there's
Yeah,
leftover
yeah.
money
Watch those?
everywhere.
I sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone's eating it.
They bait you in, bro. You can't stop.
It's like you watch one and then
And it's on.
It's a fucked up. It's
Yeah.
not cool, people.
Yeah,
People,
it's-
it's not cool. But
Bunch of money all over the
it's-
streets right now, man.
it's-
It's like
dude,
the California gold mine
it's
over
it's viral.
there. Yeah, it's the Wild West. Yeah.
The
kind of
wild
like
south.
that's Chicago.
Yeah, hopefully
That's the
fits,
Wild West.
Or it
Yeah, I
feels
like
heavy, feels good. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, man.
I appreciate
This
it.
is
Yeah,
awesome.
I appreciate
you
that,
guys
dude.
for
No,
watching.
dude, I appreciate.
Yeah.
And I am
everything you
noticing
do.
the
I want-
quality, the quality
Yeah,
on
it's-
here. It's
Nice.
the quality is like
I'm gonna wear it on
Yeah.
the next podcast.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna like wearing this with my leather jacket because I like keeping it open like a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
And I like
The same way.
when I can like have like a little like logo
Yeah.
and like that like when I have my leather jacket
Yeah,
open.
logo, baby.
Yeah, because I got one
That's
T-shirt,
how
an
you do it.
Operation Ivy T-shirt that's like that where it's a smaller logo in the middle and it looks
Yeah.
great when I'm wearing my leather.
so.
So-
Talk about the quality and like the way that everything is stitched and
Yeah, so I when I make products, I kind of tend to go through a lot of samples. Like for example, I'm not gonna probably drop this till like next month just because I want to keep working on it.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of like something where I don't know if it's like gift and a curse type thing, but like if I drop something or if I want to make this specific type of, art and put it on a clothing, I'll like run a sample and then I'll just like keep trying to change it just because I just want it to be perfect. But a lot of the crewmates that they're like, nothing's perfect. Like just it's good enough. Let's just drop it. It's fine. Trust. So, and that's just one thing that I've noticed on the garments as well. Like, I'm not expecting somebody, if I make a product and it's like feels cheap, I don't want them to think that, oh, this is cheap. I'm never ordering it.
This is something off Temu.
I gotta make sure, like, when you buy my product and, fortunately I'm getting better to making sure it gets out on time, but like once you receive it, like you could feel like the difference.
Well, that goes hand in hand with like what we talked about with these other businesses on the podcast, right? You stand by your name. Your brand is your name.
Exactly.
When they come after your brand, they're coming after Lewis.
Yeah.
So it's good that if I put this on and I'm like, damn, man, this is cozy and warm. I'm gonna buy more, Abducted 51 shit because it's the best quality I could get for the good price. So as far as vendoring and stuff like that, how did you go about that stuff? Like finding the right person to get the hoodie fabric or the hoodies from before they get embroidered or branded or your shirts and stuff like that. What's the best avenue of that you've found?
So me personally, I go through, it depends on what I need done. So like if I want to go and make a shirt that's just screen print, then I have to go ahead and, again, it goes back to sampling. I like to contact between like 3 to 5 companies or whatnot and then try to see like their work and then go with them. If it's embroidery, then I have to see this other person. Or right now I'm working on, stuff for next year, but there's no manufacturers locally or in the United States. So now I have to outsource and, and that takes more time. So that's why I have to make sure my schedule's right,
Lewis, did you make this design?
Yeah. So, I kind of, sketched it or whatnot. I had an inspiration, so I sketched it. I try to make sure that it's like something that something that everybody could wear type thing, and then if you see the logo, like, exactly, okay, that's Abducted, and then I had a buddy of mine who's a graphic designer, so he just made sure it like came to life and stuff.
I love art and I love staring at art, and I'm looking at this logo right here, and to me, like, the little alien to me is not an invader. He's got the hands out. He's almost like telling it, chill out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm here. Everyone can relax.
Yeah.
And like the eyelids, I think, are down a little bit, and it's like just like relax.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot versus like so many other little alien logos we see where their heads are shaped like guitar picks. And this is not. And I like the little moon and everything too, because I don't know, like, I was just thinking about, 'cause when I stare at something, I think about it too long sometimes. And I think when people see the moon or half moon, it's like, it's a peaceful time. When you see like the moon in the background of a movie, a music video, it's always good. So to me, I would almost say it's like an alien of peace. This is like, we can relax. We can all live together. Or something like that. I just stared at this for 3 minutes. I just had all these thoughts, and I just keep staring at it, and I love it. I absolutely do. And I can see kids wearing this stuff too.
Right.
Kind of similar to that. But I mean, I could see this like on the back of like someone's jacket, or even like a sticker or something like that. Heck, maybe even someday on a race car, you could be sponsoring a NASCAR team with this. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see this across the hood of like a car.
Yeah.
That won the Brickyard 400.
The Brickyard 400.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
And
so
that's how I'm trying to do, like, for like our logo. So with all the crew members, I know we're kind of like new, but like, and shout out to all my crew members.
I was just about to say shout out to all these people doing all this.
Make it happen.
You got Galax, you got Alien, you got the Martian, you got Baby Pluto, you got Space Cadet TJ, you got Space Dog Kev, you got Blue Sky. So there's a lot of us.
You got a team, dude.
I
That's
got a team,
awesome.
and all of us got our own alien.
You got your camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking wicked.
Yeah.
That is.
So
this
each
is
one
right
actually
here.
depicts different ones. So this one is
So like this is like mine,
yeah,
right? So
and the other one.
well, this is okay. Well, both of them are mine, but I tend to, okay. But I have a mask
Yeah.
that I wear like for like photo shoots and
Yeah,
stuff,
cool.
and this is it.
Yeah,
but,
right on.
But I don't think I have them here because it's a
Right.
sample and whatnot. But they have like their own alien that we're gonna we're gonna
Release.
introduce later.
When you talk about samples, is it something that you promote? So like you want to see like a test, right? So
Yeah.
you want to see people's reaction. You want to
Right.
promote it.
Right.
So people are like, hey man, I like.
Yeah, so
See-
so for example, like for like this, Cubs hat or whatnot, I'll go ahead and I'll make the sample for it. I'll try to promote it, make sure like the background's nice. I kind of did obviously like Wrigley Field, just to get the promotion going, see people's reaction, and then actually when I have it in hand, I tend to see what could be better on the hat, So for example, like I did a Yankees one and
I seen the Yankees one on your website.
Yeah.
That was sick.
yeah. So okay, so to that I looked at it and I was like, okay, well the size could be bigger. So I made another sample with the size and I was like, okay, well I did it's called the World Domination Series. So at first I did an iron-on patch and I was like, I don't know why I did an iron-on patch. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do regular embroidery. So then I seen it and I was like, okay, what other than the UFO, how could that resemble us? I was like, you know what? Let's just make the UFO parts of it and then the Yankee sign glow in the dark, and then let's just call it a day.
Yeah, that was wicked.
So that's already like 4 samples, and then finally we got the final piece, and it's like, all right, now let's promote this drop. So I do that with everything.
On your website, it showed the glow in the dark, and that was
sick.
That was something that was really
Yeah.
stood out to me.
Yeah.
You told you said earlier in the interview too. Your mom was
Yeah.
all big into alien. That's kind of like what sparked your passion about all this
For
stuff.
sure.
I'm sure she probably couldn't be any more proud.
No, I gave her a hoodie and a beanie the other day,
Yeah.
and she was just like, I think she wore it out.
You're making it, bro. That's what it is, dude. It's
but
happening.
Without her, man, I'm telling you, she was like, when you want to talk about aliens, she's the one. And I
Need
was
to get her in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, like, I walk in, greeting her, and then the Ancient Aliens is on all the time. So, like, that's how I kind of.
Well, every season's on Netflix now.
Yeah. So she's on that, but that's another main reason why when I made this clothing brand, I'm like, all right, I want it space related, and you could do so much stuff. Dude.
Oh, with space,
so
it's like
much.
it's
It's endless.
Man. It's endless.
It's endless.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's what makes me think like people are weird too. Like to think that aliens don't exist. Like my wife is one of those people.
Yeah.
She believes firmly they're not around at all.
Yeah. My wife
And
does too.
It's you can't. This is weird. Sorry, Stacy, but it's really ignorant to think out of all those galaxies.
Oh man,
I don't give a shit.
I want no
I'm my
part
own man.
From here on,
I'm my own man.
You got
But it's really ignorant to think out of all these Milky Ways and
Yeah.
all these galaxies, and we're the only ones.
Yeah, that's it.
The fuck,
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Dude.
There's hundreds and thousands of other solar systems in space. Like
So
that's proven.
Where does Star Trek? Where does that go to? Like, where does that come in?
Space.
But I mean, they were obviously,
Interstate 65.
obviously, but they
Yeah.
dealt with it, right?
You know-
They were like the police of the freaking.
But a Star Trek. The main thing that they say is that you can't like interfere with like other planets.
Oh, I remember that.
So that's like Star Trek. You can't interfere. So like
Slowly
that's what-
peeling back the curtain. Like I said, desensitizing motherfuckers, bro.
yeah.
Men in Black,
Yeah.
Signs,
Yeah.
all these alien movies. It's desensitizing
you could
everyone.
you could visit like if it's a zoo,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
could like
yeah.
kind of manipulate, but you can't like straight up.
Maybe we're in the zoo and they're visiting us.
Yeah, maybe.
Crap.
That's a theory.
I think like it goes hand in hand like with what you said. I think they're just watching over to make sure we're not about to fuck up this entire planet.
Yeah.
When the nukes get made, there's like what you said. There's a lot of extraterrestrial activity
Yeah.
where it just doesn't work or doesn't work right. It's because it's too much for this world.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's scary to think that, but and it's funny because like a lot of people who also like are like non-believers in aliens and
Mhm.
stuff like that, they're just like, oh well, you know, the technology, right? Technology. If I was to show somebody my iPhone from like 100 years ago, they're gonna be like, that's alien. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So who's to say 1,000 years from now we can't make it? You know what I'm saying? We're just all evolving. You know what I'm saying? So,
Which there's pictures around the internet and all that of guys that look like they were time travelers, right? They had an iPhone, or they look like the clothing that they
That
had.
JFK pic.
Which one?
There's a picture out there the day JFK was shot, and it was there was a female or a male, I can't. It was a man walking next to a female, or a female walking next to a man, but she was dressed in shit straight out the 90s, 100%. Like she like was 100. There was clothes that weren't out then.
She had a Nirvana shirt on.
No, but her clothing, it was of some other time, and there's multiple pictures out there. They say, you know, they call them time travelers, and it kind of goes hand in hand with like the belief of we do exist in some sort of another paradox, or our being is another. We're twins somewhere. Somewhere, some way, we're twins. We may not be the same traits and same character, or you know, have the same thought, but we're 100%. There's different us in a paradox. Like dreams. Have you ever thought of dreams?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about those a week ago.
Do you ever? Oh, sorry, but do you ever think like dreams are like you're reliving events in your past life, maybe, and you're trying to.
It's mainly stuff
out.
that I've already lived as my life now, though. For me,
Sometimes,
yeah.
but have you ever had a dream where like you have no clue why you're in there,
Right.
what's going on?
I had a theory that maybe dreams, despite what everyone may or may not think, like maybe a dream is a preview of your version of heaven or hell. I thought about that the other day. I was like, and honestly, as weird as that sounds, I welcome nightmares versus dreams, because in the dream, everything's cool. Like maybe people that have died are now alive, and then you wake up and you realize they're not. I'd rather wake up from a nightmare like, oh, I'm glad I'm not in that situation anymore, versus wake up like, whoa, that person's still dead. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm sure it's all happened where, like if we lost a loved one or a family member or something that, we remember from 15 years ago that's no longer around, or somebody, and then they're like, oh, I saw them in the dream, and I woke up, and then I got this bill to pay, and, they're still not around anymore. Dreams, to me, I wake up depressed from a dream. I wake up relieved from a nightmare.
True.
And sometimes it's messed up, but I'll tell you what I do. If you have like a good amount of sugar before you go to bed, like if you eat ice cream before bed, chocolate ice cream specifically, you can actually get yourself to actually have a nightmare, because having sugar right before sleep is not good for you. So it's like, if I've had a bad day, I'll have chocolate ice cream by default, because that's my vice.
What?
And then like, if I had a dream that I got pushed off like a building or something, and then I fell on the trunk of a Cadillac, and I've had that dream 3 times, and it's always my grandpa's Cadillac. But my grandpa, my grandpa had like his last car was a '91 Brougham. So the last of the real Cadillacs, in my opinion, where where the lights are in the bumper.
Yeah.
So I always fall on the trunk of that car. But his car was tan, and in my dream, the car is white. But it's parked at my grandpa's house.
Oh,
it's really weird.
Yeah.
I always had that falling drape, and my face always lands on the driver tail light. It's really bizarre.
I thought it was if you were full. I always have nightmares when I'm full, and it's all the time because
there you go. You had sugar.
I fucking love to eat, so
you had dessert.
Yeah. So it's like, and then it's one of those that you doze off, and then it's weird. Like it feels like, first of all, the beginning is it feels like you're falling down from the stairs. I don't know if you ever had that dream where you're like that, and you're like, and then you go back to sleep, and it's some weird stuff.
Or I trip.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's mine.
That you trip.
I trip.
And then the nightmare is like where like you're freaking, like you said, like you're lost somewhere, you don't have no money, no keys, no nothing, nowhere to go or something like that.
Well, that's today. I don't need to be asleep for that.
Or it's like you're like lost.
Yeah.
But it's because of what you said. But
Right.
dang, I mean, what you said is deep. Like, you wake up relieved out of a nightmare. And dreams is like something like, man, why can't I go back to that mansion and Dolly Parton is fucking singing next to me or something like that. You know, like
That'd be cool.
Oh, you like Dolly that much?
she does the kids' books, man. So you know that's why she's relevant to me.
All right.
I don't know,
see
I like
you.
that old, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Life is
Right on.
Yeah, take me home.
I'm not-
You like your dame's corn-fed. That's right.
Corn-fed dames. Oh my god.
That's a song by the Cramps, but people think of Kid Rock when they think of that song.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on paranormal?
I feel. I mean, I believe in it. I just feel like there's different levels as well.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, you know, you have their ghosts who are just, like, attached. They can't find their way to, like, heaven or hell.
Yeah.
I believe in, like, purgatory. I believe that there's, like, you know, obviously, like, the evil. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That are just, like, out to, you know, obviously what you see in movies or whatnot. Guardian angels, whatnot, too. You know? So, me, specifically, I feel like, going back to dreams, I feel like maybe they could, that's their one way to communicate as well.
Yeah.
You know? But as far as like paranormal in general, definitely a believer. You know? And it's also scary to think that I know a lot of people are off like the kind of the same type of boat like with aliens, like, oh no, ghosts aren't real, aliens aren't real.
Yeah.
But nah, dude, not me. I'm all for it. I know it's
Yeah.
real.
It's gotta be
I know
fucking real.
that shit's
So
real.
do you mean like someone used to live in this house paranormal and that they don't
Yeah,
want
like
to
so like
they stayed there?
so sometimes like if somebody like you'll see like even like with TV shows, right? If there's like murders and they don't know how they died
Right,
or it's
right.
not like a peaceful
Yeah,
death
yeah.
or whatever, they're just lurking. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like they're somewhat dreaming the same dream, but they're just
crap. Okay.
in their
Yeah,
house type
yeah,
thing.
It's
Or
almost
attachments as well.
Yeah.
It's almost like what on our last episode with Pete Grice, shout out brother Grice. He was saying about paranormal, like there's residual.
Mhm.
There's residual, and then there's like full on energetic. So like like what he was describing, like say it's an old lady, she's 80, you know, she's 60 years old, grandma lives by herself, and every night at 2 a.m. she goes downstairs to
Yeah.
make herself a cup of milk. The house is so used to that energy going downstairs, same time, every single day, say 30 years. She abruptly dies in her house of a heart attack. Doesn't know how she dies in her house of a heart attack like that in her sleep. Someone moves in. That house is going to keep that energy
yeah.
going down the stairs, opening a fridge, pouring a glass. I'm not saying that the parent would literally pour itself a glass of milk, but you'll hear the fridge open or a glass move or steps on your stairs. And it's from that residual energy that it's attached.
From the house.
They don't, yes, to the house. They don't even know that they're not dead. They,
Exactly.
It was so abrupt
It's
that they're
Beetlejuice.
almost in a
Some
limbo.
Sixth Sense kind of shit.
Well, they're almost in a limbo
Yeah.
to where
Right.
the energy doesn't know it's gone and past. They don't know to get to the light. They don't, you know, whatever it may have you or whatever you believe in.
Dang, okay.
But it makes a lot of sense the way he broke it down. If you listen to that last episode,
Because you hear
with
stories
Pete,
about that all the time. Like, oh, I used to live in this house and I used to hear this or the light turned on and the
Yes.
fucking covers.
Yes, I firmly believe in a lot of. He actually put a lot of factual evidence behind a lot of the stuff that regular people ask about the paranormal. It's a good episode to watch, but the way he described it was fucking awesome.
I've had two things happen to me.
What at your
Like
house?
Yeah, at the apartment, actually. That was my first place. I'll touch on it briefly real fast. And more than two things happened, but the two quick ones, they both happened in my bed. And one was I was laying down not napping, I was sleeping. I was about to get up. And you know the feeling if somebody walks across the bed, like if you actually legit have your bed against the wall and someone has to walk across you and then you feel the bed sink down.
Oh, yeah.
I had that happen with my legs. And I was...
Like someone going over your legs?
Well, no, like the bed was sinking down. Like someone was walking across it. But I was alone.
Oh, so someone's going...
Yeah.
Portion,
Yeah.
you feel like this.
Yeah, no, it was just my legs.
Oh,
Just like somebody was walking across me.
crap.
And so that happened one time. And
Sell the house.
I haven't lived there in a while, but none of this stuff ever bothered me, ever. And another time, there was two people I heard arguing, but I could only... This not as spooky as that one, but I could only hear them if I put my head on the pillow. Because I would, like, move up, see what's going on, or I'd look out the window, no one's there, and then I'd put my head back on the pillow, and then I would hear arguing.
Oh shit.
And I like move my head up and down like. Probably Night at the Roxbury, like
what hearing it?
like 3 times. So wait, they're there, they're not, they're there, they're not. And then I'm looking around like, what is going on? And this is the same place, same room, and it's at it was above my dad's restaurant, and because my theory was like, all right, there's people downstairs, it's brunch or something, but it was Tuesday, and the restaurant's not open on Tuesday. So,
who's closed on a fucking Tuesday?
Yeah,
they are.
The fuck? No,
fucking hungry.
Who the fuck is closed on a Tuesday?
That place.
That's probably the arguing you heard.
Yeah.
Some people like, who the fuck is closed on a fucking Tuesday?
Hungry as fuck.
Lowest revenue day.
Ass.
Lowest revenue day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are just some of the events that I've had.
That is pretty creepy. That is.
It
Pretty
didn't bother me at all. I mean, it didn't
like
bother
that sleep paralysis. Everybody's
Oh,
experienced
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've had that.
Everybody's had that. Where you try to like wake up, but like your body's so heavy that you can't. So like your brain, like you want to wake up, but your body doesn't.
Your brain wakes up before your body.
The only way I can get
exactly.
I can get myself to wake up from
You
that.
never had that? Everybody's had that.
I don't have a lot of problems.
You had that. Everybody's had that.
I may be fat, but I don't have a lot of problems.
Everybody's
No.
like your
fucking
brain
shit.
wakes up before you do, and like you try to move it, you freaking can't move.
You can't talk. You can't-
No, I couldn't breathe.
Do shit. But you're looking at this
Yeah, your eyes. Yeah.
Damn. Like lights on, no one's home.
sleep paralysis,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
say something of the theory about that is a spirit.
See, if that happens to you again, the trick I did to wake myself up, I would move my toes or move my tongue, and then I would wake up because I would not be able to move and I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Oh shoot! Really?
Yeah, it'd be bad.
No.
Yeah,
I never had like that. I just had it like for me. It's been like 2 seconds. Like a 2
No,
second.
I'm like 20 seconds.
Oh no! Wait,
It's bad.
Oh, wait, no, I've had
bad.
that.
Does it feel like is it an actual 20 seconds or like feels like it's?
I'm sure it feels like it's probably 8,
Yeah.
but it's definitely not 2.
That's scary. Like, and you're looking at it, and you're like,
Yeah, I experienced that once and
fuck.
It's when I sleep on my back. I can't sleep on my back
I
because
don't
that
sleep on
happens
my
every
back.
time.
I only
yeah,
sleep.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm
The
the
way
same
that the way that I sleep is like a freaking chalk outline.
Yeah.
Like, that's
what?
what I told my
A
yeah.
what?
We bought a big old like a chalk outline, like freaking.
What's a chocolate light?
No, the chalk outline, like the
Oh,
stereotypical.
chalk outline. I
Like
see.
that. That's how I sleep. Pillow here and like that. That's how I sleep.
Yeah.
And once in a while, if you had a couple too many of these and you do sleep on your back, the sleep paralysis is like fucking Bud Lights everywhere, man. I can't.
Oh, you're one of those girls.
Yeah.
So
You're part of the movement.
So,
No.
I'm woke.
so he'll sleep like the album cover for Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
Battle of Los Angeles.
The Battle of Los Angeles. That's the way. The
Battle of
perfect way.
Gabe.
Yep. The chalk outline is the way I sleep, just like that. Almost like a Jordan, but a little more.
Me too. I'll be spread out like a starfish if I got the whole thing to it.
yeah.
Or like last night,
yeah.
I know I slept like this. I do this.
Like what? Like
Well, like my head will be on the pillow and I'll be like this.
oh no, I haven't done that shit. That's
And-
some Illuminati shit.
And then they say like there's different positions. The way you sleep kind of defines your personality.
Oh, shit.
And
I'm all over the place.
apparently, I'm a control freak. If I do this, I gotta have my hands doing something.
Wow.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, there's
No,
like
I've never
The
heard
way,
of
the
that.
way you sleep is the type of character you are, man.
Yeah,
I sleep in about 10, 20 different positions.
so you have multiple
No,
personalities because you're an alien.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It's like
I'll save y'all. But yeah, it's wild. I never heard of that. I don't think I've ever had sleep paralysis
I
or,
have, yeah.
or
It's
anything
bad.
of that
On
nature.
multiple
Hope you don't,
occasions. Yeah, I hope you don't. It's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Mine went away when I actually started exercising, though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like if I exercised or if I biked or whatever, I need to get back to it. But yeah, man, if I do like sit-ups or something, and I'm pretty good about it. I actually exercise often, but I don't show it because I had a bunch of cake last week. But yeah, man, if I don't if I'm like having red meat and not exercising, and my triple chin is
okay.
so that might be it.
yeah.
It might be a fat thing
No, I
in
don't
my
think so.
face.
Because he's pretty in shape and he's had them.
Yeah.
I know people that are pretty in shape and they've had it. Young people, older people, anybody's had them. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Maybe it's a dairy intake.
No, I don't know what it is, but it's freaking terrible. The first time I've had it, I was like probably about 12. and I don't know what's going on. And it's like, dude, it's like you wake up, but you can't move. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
And you see the lights everywhere. You can't.
Okay. Well, my story with sleep paralysis. I was at NIU. I was in college or whatnot. So it's
in the dorm.
In a dorm. So it's a hallway. So during the there's different doors to go to different dorms.
Yeah.
So in my dream, I just see a big, skinny black figure at the end of the hallway.
Slender Man.
Kind of like it without the suit, right? So I'm like walking towards it, but while I'm walking towards it, I'm like talking shit to it. Like I don't know, like I'm trying to like square up with this thing, you know? Yeah. So but like while I'm walking, like everything is like getting a little bit fadey. Like I'm like gravity is like not pulling. Like I can't really run towards it, even though I'm trying to. And then when I wake up, like I just feel like something was just like on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk, and then all of a sudden, when it like went away, I just like screamed. And my girlfriend, well, my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. I just woke her up. I woke my across the hall. I just screamed like I wanted to. I don't know. Like I was just like spooked. I was like I couldn't sleep for like the following day. I'm like I thought the dorm was haunted, but it was just that sleep paralysis.
In Spanish, they call that cuando se te sube el muerto.
If you have something to tell your followers, tell the people that are buying your product, everything like that, where to find you, what you're coming out with. Is there any sneak peeks coming in 2024 that you can count on? Give us a little peel back behind the curtain, man.
Yeah, so you can follow us. We have like a dashboard that has all social media platforms, but our main one's on Instagram. So it's Abducted _51, like Area 51. And the website's Abducted 51, so no underscore.
Yep.
If you want to go ahead and get some merch or whatnot. But as far as what's coming out, I'm gonna probably do 2 other shirts. I just gotta make sure that that it's right. I'm definitely dropping this hat, this jacket. I got like a bag that's dropping as well. And for next year, I'm more so focused on the summer, spring type drop, just because this past summer I didn't really drop anything. I wanted to focus more so for fall and winter. So now that we already got all our pieces that we want to drop, I honestly I'm excited for the summer, spring, because we got some cool stuff like lined up.
You guys on Facebook?
We do. It's on professional on the dashboard. It's the same Abducted _51.
Right.
TikTok the same. So yeah, no, we're trying to have exposures on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to promote you guys and rock
likewise.
this merchandise you gave us.
Likewise.
And everything
Beautiful,
like
man.
that.
This is good stuff.
Everybody,
Appreciate you, man.
Abducted 51, quality. I could feel it. It's embroidered. Great clothing.
Thank you.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait to be a customer. I want to not it was great that you gave this to me, but at the same time, like I plan on buying that Yankees hat. That shit's sick.
I saw a couple hats on there that I liked a lot, like
Thank
with
you.
the logo and
Thank you.
the dad cap. They have the dad cap too, like this one. So.
And have you Googled Area 51 on Google Maps to see where it would take you? I just need to know if you've ever done
It's
this.
in the middle of like nowhere.
I did this a few years ago. It literally took me to a parking lot in Ohio.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know if
5
that was
years
done
ago.
purposely, man. I don't
I
know.
thought it was in New Mexico somewhere.
In Nevada, yeah.
But your stuff is not in Ohio. It's here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's in Chicago now.
So don't go to Ohio. Go to
Yeah.
Chicago,
Go to Chicago.
for these products.
Yeah, but honestly, man, this was fun. You guys are amazing.
Nah,
You guys are
dude.
cool.
I can't wait to have you again.
Yeah, man. Whenever
We're gonna bring you on again, for
Whenever,
sure.
man. You guys are awesome.
You're gonna get bigger. We're gonna get bigger.
For
We're all
sure.
getting
That's the
bigger
plan.
together.
I actually want to lose weight, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Unqualified Professionals. Follow us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
That's